Hi there, Peter Nichols here, and I'm gonna just talk through my um, classroom changes interview. So I conducted this interview with Erica Parker, who's the instructional facilitator at Lander Middle School, and she's had a bit of a lengthy, certainly a lengthy compared to me, career in education that started off working in early elementary school levels, and then moved to the middle school level. She moved back down to upper elementary school and now has become an instructional facilitator. We spoke a fair bit about her passion for place-based education, and how that started with an opportunity collaborating with the Teton Science Schools um, here in Wyoming, and how she really felt that the connections made with place-based education sometimes are sort of misconceived as being overly environmental, but that there are lots of other aspects of it that tie into a community's, I guess, other assets and other forms of identity, um, which I found pretty interesting. One real takeaway that I took from this interview was a sense of almost melancholy um, at how I guess Erica's educational ideals haven't really been realized, and she largely attributed that to administrative turnover, um, and how different administrators come in, and a part of the reason why they're brought in is to impose certain reforms that are seen as attractive to school districts, and a part of the reason why they don't last too long is because sometimes the luster of those reforms wears off, and a new administrator is brought in. And so she spoke a bit about how looking for a silver bullet is just not there. And what's really best is hiring people who are passionate, and who will, I guess, maintain their drive to improve throughout their careers. That's sort of what professionalism, in her opinion, was this drive to improve over time, regardless of the obstacles for that improvement. I'm going to click over to the assignment to make sure that I'm getting some things done here. So, reflection on how I was taught at the secondary level. I guess I would really characterize my high school education as compliance based. It was everyone did the same thing at the same time, um, and highly extrinsically motivated through grades. It was you um, got got an A, B, or a C, or D or F. And what I really found remarkable is how many students started to identify themselves as I'm an A student, I'm a B student, I'm a C student, so on and so forth. And I feel like I was pretty cynical and skeptical of the whole system as a pretty young person. So I honestly tried to not get caught up into the system and spend as little time in it as I could. Um, but fortunately, I did have some educators and some adults in my life who instilled in me a passion for learning, and a sort of inquisitiveness that I think has driven me as an adult, to continue to learn why things are the way they are and how they could be better, um, and to pursue things that seem irrational and try to alter them. Um, so to sort of flip that on its head, now as someone that works teaching young folks, I try to embrace choice as much as possible. I think that if you have students choosing the content that they're using to then practice a skill or a concept, the likelihood that they will retain those new skills or concepts, improve them, is way higher. B, the likelihood that they'll engage is way higher. And C, the likelihood that I, as a teacher, am going to be interested in uh, reading the material that they're creating is also way higher because I'm not reading the same assignment for every single student. I'm reading tons of different things about what they're passionate about, and I'm getting to know them as people better, um, which in turns allows me to build better relationships with them and have more targeted feedback, and it increases the likelihood that they'll be receptive to my feedback, um, which I really like. Um, to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna think too much of Marzano and Hattie in my everyday teaching. I think I'll more come back to that stuff as sort of a reflection or a way to, I guess, wonder how things could be improved over the summer. Largely, that's when I have most of my reflective time. I do right now find collaborative learning and the Kagan structures to be really interesting. It really, from what I've tinkered with so far, really seems to turn up how many students are just talking about what I want and need them to talk about and consider. Um, Whereas if you're just having students raise hands or doing popcorn style or asking them to talk in small groups but not giving them a structure or guidelines to do that, you're always going to have folks that are off task. But the Kagan structures really seem to invite, I mean, sort of demand full class participation, which when you set up a environment that's conducive to that, you get it. I guess another thing that I really do take away and think about a lot is environment dictates behavior, in thinking about how the simple environment of my classroom can dictate behavior that's going to be, uh, I guess, conducive to learning on task, and will get everybody excited about progressing rather than only have sort of like the students who are in the middle progress or the students that are at the top progress. I think having a mentality in your classroom and a space where progress is celebrated and targeted is super important. Um, so we'll see where this all goes, and I'll get my PPAT 4 done, and I'm really excited to keep on teaching at the middle school level. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. All the best. See if I can figure out how to stop this recording now.